Hi, welcome back to Crypto Vagabonds YouTube channel. In this channel, we discuss cryptocurrencies, microfinance, geopolitics, and everything else that may affect the performance of your favorite crypto asset. If you do like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and also click the notification bell. We have a lot to cover today. The ECB is going to continue hiking. The FDIC is in desperate need for cash and they're going to increase fines on the banks. There has been an attempt on the life of Vladimir Putin, or so they alleged. Democrats are actually accusing Zelensky of maybe starting the war. And there's also the need of digital ID or the implementation of digital ID for cryptocurrencies. There's a few more than the things that I mentioned here to you guys. So let's go for the video. As usual, we begin with Bloomberg. And here in Bloomberg, we see the ECB bid to divert from Federal Reserve bids, Lagarde against tide of history. So I know this sounds very complicated. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. Pretty much what this says is Lagarde is not going to stop the hikes. She says even if the Federal Reserve does not hike or do not continue to increase the rates, the Central Bank of Europe will continue increasing the rates. Bank drama rages on, Apple climbs in late trading markets warp. I'm not going to read the whole article. Basically, what it's talking is about 3 to 4 banks going further down. You see here another unsettling round of trading halts. That means there's been a collapse on the price of the shares and then stock market stops allowing that share to trade, which means they suspend the selling. That means the price doesn't go further down. And that happened with the Western Alliance Bancorp and PacWest Bancorp, and this time amid losses that topped 60% for each stock. That means the stocks of those two banks dropped in value by 60% in one single day, and of course then they stopped trading. You see here with First Horizon Corp down over 30% after the merger with Toronto Dominion Bank. So those are 3 banks that have lost their value on their shares, 2 of them 60%, another one 30%. And this is going to continue to happen. I have been saying here on the channel, bigger banks will continue to take down small banks or buying smaller banks. And of course, this is happening because of we being in a recession, at least my opinion. I know that it's not there yet. And of course, the FDIC is insuring depositors even above 250,000. And because of that, the FDIC now has plans to hit big banks with fees to refill deposit insurance fund. Now, the thing is, the FDIC has secured 100% of depositors, even those above 250,000, which should not happen. And they are down about 30% of all their money or their deposits to save collapsing banks or to save depositors. Now, out of all the money they had, about 30% is already down. As more banks collapse, you're going to see that going even further down, especially if they're insuring depositors that are above 250,000, which should not happen. So now they're desperate for money, and the way they're going to do this is they want to increase the fees on larger banks to try to get more cash back or to refill their deposits so they can insure other depositors. Now, what I want to discuss here with you guys is a daring Ukrainian attack on Russian, false flag, fury questions swirl over the Kremlin. So what happened is about 2 days ago, there was an attack of a drone over the Kremlin in Russia. Of course, it didn't hit anything. The raiders of Kremlin did neutralize the attack or destroy that drone. Now, there's a few headlines here. You can see Moscow says US is behind the Kremlin drone attack. So no one knows who did the attack. I'm going to be playing a video for you guys so you can see more about that. And of course, this attack now gives leverage to Russia to respond more strongly to the attack. So let's just play the video and you guys are going to hear for yourself. So
the Ukrainian government sent this small drone and another to assassinate President Vladimir Putin. The alleged attempt thwarted when the drones were destroyed by the Kremlin's radar defenses. Putin wasn't in the Kremlin or Moscow. Russia responded with fury and outrage, saying the Russian side reserves the right to take retaliatory measures where and when it sees fit. Others went further. Former President and Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev saying Moscow has no options except the physical elimination of Zelensky and his clique. Ukraine denied any involvement.
So as you can see, there was this drone attack and they have different responses. We don't know who did that yet. So Let's continue with the video.
Accusing the Kremlin of staging the attack to gain public support for a failing war. President Zelensky was in Finland at the time.
We don't attack Putin or Moscow. We fight on our territory.
U.S. officials are still investigating and urge caution. The way the videos spread across the internet was unusual, suggesting a coordinated rollout instead of a traditional viral spread. The first video, showing aftermath, emerged on Telegram, an encrypted app popular in Russia, at 2:37 a.m. Moscow time Wednesday. Then, nothing for 12 hours. Until 3 p.m., when several videos emerged also on Telegram, showing the alleged attack before and after it took place. One video appears to have been recorded from a security camera. A reflection seems to show people in an office filming the screen. Two people can also be seen climbing up a staircase at the Kremlin and appear to react to an explosion. It's unclear what they were doing on the Kremlin roof in the middle of the night. A spokesman for President Putin this morning was vague about how Russia might respond, saying only it would be balanced and thought out. Craig?
Okay, I'm not going to play the whole thing to you, so I just want you to know that there has been this attack on Wednesday night, and this is like about 24 hours ago from the time that I'm recording the video now. And this is further escalation. We don't know who did the attack. There has possible accusations already towards the US. The truth is, we don't know who did the attack. And again, whenever there's a war, the first thing to be murdered is truth. We're never going to know the truth. But the possibilities are many. It could be individual Russians trying to do something like that. It could be individuals in Ukraine without the support of the Ukrainian government or Zelensky. It could have been Ukraine. It could have been the US. It could have been Russia staging. We do not know who did it and their motivations. What we do know is that right now there is this footage and there was an attack on the Kremlin. Who did it? I don't know. I wonder what are your opinions. Who do you think did this? Now, the consequences are further escalation and more sympathy maybe for Putin, or more reasons for the war to become more and more strong and to have a stronger response. So I think this is not good. This is going to only provide further escalation on the war. I just want to share this with you guys. Now, on that front, as this is happening, also important to notice that according to the leakage of document, during this time is when Ukraine should be making a very, or have planned to make a very strong attack on Russia, or a counterattack on to regain their territory, including maybe Crimea. Now, another thing which is really shocking for today is this. Robert Kennedy Jr., and if you guys do not know who he is, let's go to his Wikipedia and then we come back here. So this is Robert Kennedy Jr. Let me see if I can get this enlarged and get myself out of the way here. So here we go. Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. Of course, born in 54. That's not the part which is important. What is important is he's a 2024 Democratic Party presidential candidate. So he's a possible candidate for Democratic Party. And here's the thing, why is he relevant? He's relevant because Robert Kennedy Jr. explained how Zelensky could have avoided war in a conflict with Russia. And this is a narrative that the US and the West is not willing to embrace. I have been saying this on the channel. I have made videos about this before. Not that I strongly believe, oh, now Vladimir Putin, everything he did is correct. No, I just think this war could have easily been avoided if Ukraine decides not to be part of NATO. Now, here's what it goes. US presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. has said Ukrainian President Zelensky has a chance to prevent a conflict with Russia if he assures Moscow from the start that Kiev, Ukraine, had no plans to join NATO. This is what he wrote on his Twitter. Now, he's a presidential candidate. This starts to change the narrative that, oh, everything is Vladimir Putin's fault. So again, I'm not defending one point or the other. I'm just saying that this changed the narrative, because right now you have Democrats and Republicans. If Donald Trump is the candidate, I can pretty much feel like Ukraine will get as much support. Remember, Donald Trump had friendship or a stronger tie with Russia, with Vladimir Putin. Now, a Democrat possible candidate also is saying that Zelensky could have avoided this war. So this changed the narrative. This is very problematic for Ukraine and for the situation between NATO, US, Ukraine, and the whole conflict. So I just want to share this with you guys. Now, on that front, China is taking the Yuan global. Now, I don't want to expand much about this article. I have actually already made a video and a presentation yesterday about the competition between the US dollar and the Chinese yuan. If you want to find out more about this, please stay tuned or watch the live from yesterday because I already made a presentation about this. Now, top US spies warns that China would seek to exploit a debt default. I'm not going to talk about the whole article. I have made videos about this before. The debt ceiling deadline is approaching, and of course, Yellen has pretty much guaranteed that the US will default on their debt if the ceiling is not increased. The deadline is now to happen in June. McCarthy, the member of Congress, is a Republican, and you have a Democrat President, Joe Biden. Now, McCarthy has some requests or some conditions in order to approve the debt ceiling increase, and Biden or his administration are unwilling to sit down and discuss about the negotiation. And if the ceiling doesn't get increased, the US will default on their debt. Now, will they not increase the ceiling, or will they increase the ceiling? That's a question I have for you. I personally believe the likelihood is that they will increase, because a default on the debt by America, it will bring a lot of volatility and a lot of turmoil to the economy. But those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Please let that on the comments below. And if you want to find out more about debt ceiling, I have made presentations and video about this. Link is going to be linked on the card above. Now, we already spoke about the geopolitics, conflict, possible default of the American debt on the traditional finance. Let's start to talk about cryptocurrency. One headline here on Cointelegraph. FTX bankruptcy judge approves the sale of LedgerX. Now, important, LedgerX is not Ledger, the cold storage. A lot of people mistake LedgerX for the Ledger cold storage. LedgerX, I'm going to show it to you guys here. It is a platform providing options and futures on cryptocurrencies. So it's not the same company as Ledger, the hardware storage. Now here, North Carolina House passes a bill banning CBDC payments to the state. Now, remember, CBDCs, they're not really cash, and as the US is trying to push the CBDC, a few states are saying, no, we do not want CBDCs here. There's a video where politicians, Jerome Powell, and other Fed members, they speak negative about CBDCs. So a lot of people think, oh, everyone is on board, everyone wants to be CBDCs. That's not true. Some politicians, some Fed members are against CBDC. I have made a video about that. Please use the link above to see that one. Now, here is another headline that really got my attention. And this one is the new White House standard strategy could have implications for crypto industry KYC. KYC stands for Know Your Customer. And what happened is the new White House are setting a standard for Know Your Customer. And pretty much, I'm not going to read the article, what they're really trying to push is an idea of a digital identity. Here you see, digital identity is unique in the context of digital service, but does not necessarily need to uniquely identify the subject context. Now, this is a claim. I'm not sure how real that is. The point is they will try to push central bank digital currencies, and they will try to push you to use a digital ID. I don't think that's positive. I think both CBDC and digital identity is an invasion or intrusion towards privacy. Those are my thoughts. What's your thoughts? Please let me know on the comments below. And with that, we finished the video for today. We have a lot of things here that I think are really significant and important. One is, of course, the digital identity that may be pushed, the ECB, the possible debt ceiling not being increased, but most important thing is geopolitically, this attack on the Kremlin will escalate things in the war even further, at least in my opinion. What's your opinion? Please let me know on the comments below. That's it for today. See you guys on the next video.